Hey, should be live now. What's going on, guys? Give me 1 second. Let me tweet out the stream, and then we'll jump into it. Hope you guys all had a good Saturday. I surprisingly cashed with that lineup last night of mine. Jermichael Green. It was just such a weird slate. Like, I just didn't feel confident with any of the guys in the late game, like value-wise. I didn't trust the rotations. Yeah, I got in the cash in the big $20 tournament and missed like 1 point in the $100 tournament, so I ended up losing like overall. But I was still surprised that with one player in that late game that I cashed. It was just Jaylen Brown chalk failed, busted, which was big for me because I had Kemba Tatum, even though they both weren't that good either. So it was a really, really weird slate. And the Denver side was Jokic and then like Paul George, and that was really it. Like all the value busted in that late game. It was a strange slate. Jake Anderson, the $5 super chat. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you, man. Seriously, really, really do appreciate you coming in each and every day with those super chats. It's greatly appreciated. What are we thinking about McGee? I'll get to McGee in a sec. I think he's playable. No one's really going to play him today. I did retweet that quote. I don't think he plays more minutes, but Frank Vogel did acknowledge that they were positive with McGee in there. DFS aside, do you have Miami sweeping? I think the Bucks win this one. So I don't, but that's just my take. All right, let's talk about the big news. Giannis was a game time decision, and now he plans to play. Still no fully guarantee yet, but assuming he's going to go, Kelly O available as well. Tyler Hero active. Heat are starting their same guys. So this is. Do you guys remember that slate? Like over a week ago when Luka was questionable, and then he got ruled in at the end. And I told you guys, like, this is the lowest owned we're ever going to get Luka. And he was 5% owned, and he went for 90 plus fancy points. This kind of feels like the same thing, right? Like, very few people are going to play Giannis today. Very few. Like, I think we'll get him at under 20% ownership. So, for that reason of this, in my opinion, will be one of the lowest owned we'll ever get Giannis into the combo. That's kind of a reason why I have interest in him. He's not, full disclosure, he's not in my lineup right now, but I like him for the reason of I know he's going to be super, super low owned. Because no one's going to play him because of that. Dawson Wright with a $3 super chat. Drop a like. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Seriously, guys, you guys do not need to hit me with the super chats, but they're greatly appreciated. Real quick, yeah, guys, hit the like button if you enjoy. So we'll keep an eye on the Giannis. Giannis news. I'll keep checking back to see if we get that news verified for sure. We have the Bucks Heat. It's a 219.5 over under. The Bucks are 1 point favorites, and we have the Rockets Lakers, a 222.5 over under. Lakers are 5.5 point favorites. So let's start with Milwaukee. And now Giannis, right? He's planning to play. He's 11.5. I think very few people play him. I think he'll go under 20% owned. So for that reason alone, I have interest just because he's going to be super low owned and it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know Miami's done a really good job of him defensively, and he's probably not in your optimal build. Right? At full disclosure, he's not in my lineup. But I like the fact that he's going to be low owned here because people are concerned about the ankle. Obviously, they've been struggling against Miami. So this is the lowest owned you'll probably get Giannis for a long, long time. Middleton's at 8-1. So he is more playable just for, he's, $3K cheaper. He's 8.1K. He's been pretty consistent so far this series. 47, 41, and 39 fancy points. 37, 33, and 36 minutes. Obviously, it's do or die time. I think we get about 35 minutes here. Middleton's a guy that he always goes low owned, too. No one likes playing Chris Middleton. And I think he'll be somewhat low owned again. I think 25-ish% or so. Like, that's what he's been, it feels like, the last few slates. I don't really have, like, a strong take about Middleton, but I think he's a pretty decent play in the mid-range. You know what you're going to get out of him. The minutes will be there. He is their clear number 2 guy. When Giannis is not on the court, he's the go-to guy. And with Giannis struggling, him dealing with the ankle injury, maybe he'll have to do a little bit more. So, yeah, I have interest in Middleton. Brook Lopez, I think, is going to be pretty popular today. The price is slowly coming up, but 38 minutes. 38 minutes of last game is really good to see. Will we see that again? I don't know. Kind of like what we last night, or yesterday, I should say, OG Anunoby played, 45 minutes a game before. I think he only played like 32 or 33 minutes. He didn't even get close to what he played the last game. So there's no guarantee, obviously, that Brook Lopez is going to play 38 minutes again. I'm just curious to see how many minutes OG actually played that game. OG played 35. So he played like 5 less minutes than he did, or 10 less minutes than he did the last game. So there's no guarantee he plays 38 minutes, but it's at least good to see that he can. And I think he does get extended a little bit more just because, obviously, they have to win. My downside of Brook Lopez is he is kind of a scoring-dependent center. With Giannis eating up all the rebounds, he needs to hit his threes. So, but the good things, obviously, are the minutes. And I think the price looks pretty okay on him. So I think he's perfectly fine there in the mid-range. Bledsoe is going to go low-owned because he was chalk that last slate. I liked him, and he kind of busted. So now the ownership is going to drop big time. We saw it with the Miami guys last slate, right? Jimmy Butler was not good, kind of just deferred offensively. He was 50% owned that slate, and then he dropped to 20% owned, and then he went out and got 50 fantasy points. So I like the fact that we're going to get Bledsoe at lower ownership. 5-6 seems fair. He'll play around 30 minutes. He still has upside. Like, we haven't really seen it from him, but is this the game where if Bledsoe finally breaks out? It could be, and you're going to get him at low ownership. I know that. Like, Brook Lopez is probably going to be double the ownership of Eric Bledsoe, at least. So, for that reason alone, I think Bledsoe intrigues me. And I think the upside is still around 40 from him. We haven't seen it, but it's there. So, yeah, Bledsoe's a guy that I like for the fact that he will be lower owned. George Hill at 4-2, I think is a perfectly fine value option. 25 to 30-ish minutes. Not really going to win you GPP, but I don't think he kills you either. I think his range of outcomes, probably 15-ish to 25 fantasy points. And yeah, 4-2, minutes will be there. I think he's a fair play. Again, don't really have a strong take on George Hill. If you land on him, that's fine. If you're going more stars and scrubs, there are a couple viable plays down here. Marvin Williams has been playing about 20 minutes. Has a kind of low floor, but he's in consideration for the fact that he's at least getting the minutes. And if something happens to Giannis, he injures his ankle or something, right? Marvin Williams will probably play a few more minutes. So he's playable. Obviously, you're not going to feel good about it. Wes Matthews is not a guy I would consider. I would rather play Marvin Williams, as gross as that sounds, and I'd probably rather take a shot at DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo is the better offensive player. He can do a little bit more. He played 21 minutes that last game, which is good to see, because he was playing like 10 or so minutes. Do we get that again? I don't know, but I think he's at least in consideration. Just be warned, though. Like, there's a chance he goes back and plays like 10 minutes in this one, so there's no guarantee. So yeah, there's a couple playable players down here with like DiVincenzo, Marvin Williams, but you're not going to feel good about either of those guys. Giannis confirmed in. Did he get confirmed in? Let's see. Yep, Giannis available to play. So, again, you're going to get Giannis at really low ownership. I would say below 20%. That's the reason I have interest in him today, is for the ownership alone. On the Miami side, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Jimmy's at 8.6, Bam's at 8.3. I think both are perfectly good plays in the mid-range. And I think the stars and scrubs approach is actually going to be a little bit more popular today. So that balanced build, I think, will be more contrarian. Right? We've seen low ownership on Middleton a lot. I think these Miami guys go a little bit lower owned. And I still have interest in the balanced build. It's just more safety, and you don't have to take shots on guys like Marvin Williams or Alex Caruso or Rajon Rondo. You can play more guys in the mid. You can play guys like Tyler Hero as like your cheap option, right? So Jimmy, he can be a little bit up and down, and the concerns with these Miami guys is they are a little bit more of a balanced team. Jimmy, Bam, Dragic, Crowder, Hero. They have a lot of guys who can score. They have Kelly off the bench. So, and the price is slowly ticking up on Jimmy Butler. Him and Middleton are pretty close plays to me. Like, I don't really have a strong take. I think they're good options, maybe not amazing options. With Bam, I think I slightly prefer him to Jimmy Butler by a hair. He's $300 cheaper. I think he has maybe a little bit more upside. I don't know. It's a really close call if you're going to make me pick between those two Miami guys. But I think they're both good options in the mid-range. And then Dragic. Dragic is going to go a little bit lower round here. He kind of had a subpar performance there of 32 fantasy points in 36 minutes. I still have no issues with him. We're going to get 35 minutes. He's been a very, very productive guy in this offense. Sure, Bledsoe's a good defender. It doesn't worry me a whole lot, to be honest. So I still have interest in Goran Dragic at 7-2. I think he's a pretty decent option. Jay Crowder's at 5-6. The price is slowly coming up on him. Still think he's playable. I've played him the last like 3 slates or 2 slates. He's not in my lineup right now just because, again, the price is slowly coming up. But I think he's perfectly fine in the mid-range. I think I slightly do prefer Tyler Hero, though, at 5-3. $300 less. I think the upside might be a little bit higher on Hero. He's probably the better offensive player than Jay Crowder, whereas Jay Crowder's more of the do-it-all guy. So if you're going for safety, maybe it's Crowder. If you're going for the upside, I think Tyler Hero is probably your guy. But really, I've been high on these Miami guys the last 3 slates, and I like all 5 of those main guys. With Hero, Crowder, Dragic, Bam, and Jimmy, I think all 5 look good. The key is, landing on the right guys, right? Because in the last slate, I went with Dragic, Crowder, and Hero. All were good, but you really needed one of Bam or Jimmy that last slate to cash. So, you're going to have to make tough calls. Just, what fits with your lineup. I think probably getting a couple of those Miami guys in your lineup is a good way to start. Because I think all 5 have been consistent. The minutes will be there. It's just, landing on the right ones. Duncan's at 4-5. Did play 30 minutes the last game, which is good to see. He's scoring dependence, so the floor is low, but we haven't really seen the ceiling game from Duncan Robinson yet. Could this be the one? It's possible. His range of outcomes are, kind of high. Right? His floor is low. His ceiling can be 30+. I don't think a lot of people play him today, so he intrigues me as a GPP option. Definitely a riskier option. The cheap options I'm not going to get to. I'm not going to take a shot in Iguodala. I think there's better value options. Not going to play none. Like Jones Jr. and Myers Leonard played because Kelly O was out. Kelly O's back now, so I'm not really going to get to those guys. Kelly O himself is playable. I think 10 to 15 minutes, and he's a high usage guy, right? He's a good scorer. So I have a little bit interested in Kelly O here. My concerns are he could play like 10 minutes in this one. So not a guy that's going to play huge minutes, but I think he's for sure in play as a really cheap option. Let's talk about Houston and the Lakers now. So Houston, for their prices, if you look at the guys, this is probably the team I have the least interest in. Harden's at 11-2. I'm just not going to do it on this slate. I would much rather get to Westbrook for $3K less. I know Harden's obviously the better player, but he's 11.2K. And I prefer getting to one of the Lakers stars than Harden. So I'm just not going to get to Harden. I'll pass on him. Westbrook's the guy that intrigues me at 8.5. It's just a price point thing. He hasn't really been great. He was good that last game, but before that, he really struggled against OKC. But 8.5, that just seems too cheap for Russell Westbrook. So he's a guy that I like in the mid-range. He's a little bit riskier of an option for the reason of he hasn't been playing great, but just the price point that makes him more in play on the slate. Roko's fine at 6'4". He'll play 35-plus minutes. He only shot the ball 3 times last slate. He still played good, right? He got 4 steals and a block. That's what you're going to get out of Robert Covington is a lot of those blocks and steals. So I don't really have a strong take. I think he's a good option in the mid-range. Not my favorite play. Eric Gordon's at 5'9". He's definitely the riskier option. We haven't seen the floor yet from Gordon, but it is probably 15 fantasy points a floor of Eric Gordon. Right? He's very, very score independent. He has to score the ball. If not, his floor is pretty low. So I think Eric Gordon's a decent option. He's risky because he is score independent. Tucker's at 4.7. Yeah, I think he's playable. We'll get 35-plus minutes. I don't think he's necessarily going to kill you, but he's definitely not going to win you a GPP either. Yeah, again, I think he's okay, but I'm probably not going to do it. I'm not going to get to Jeff Green either. The minutes aren't high enough on me to consider him. House, I guess you can take a shot on, but I'm probably not going to do it. He has to hit his threes, too. He's got a very low floor like we saw the last game. I'm not going to take a shot on Austin Rivers, even though he did play 16 minutes. Not enough for me to consider him. Would rather get to other value on the slate. And that's it for Houston. So let's finish it up with the Lakers here. LeBron, 80. I like both at under 11K. They played bad last game. I just like buying into teams after they struggled. So yeah, I think LeBron and AD are going to come out much, much more aggressive here in this game. LeBron at 10-8, AD at 10-6. I like both quite a bit. I think I slightly prefer AD to LeBron, but both guys are certainly in play. Can you play both of them? You can, but I think if I was going to do that, I would just do a full game stack. So I'd probably do like AD, LeBron, and then run it back like Westbrook if I was going to do that, right? And then you kind of hope for overtime or you hope for a blowout in the first game. So don't really think I would play them both together unless you're just going full game stack. Now, Kuzma's a guy that this is nothing more than just a gut feeling for me at 4-8. I just like him here. He has not been good. I know that. But he played 28 minutes that last game. And this is a series against a small ball team against Houston that he could play more, right? The minutes on Dwight Howard went down. So I feel like the Kuzma breakout game is coming soon. We're not really getting him at a huge discount at 4-8, so he's a risky option for sure. But the upside is pretty high in him when he's shooting the ball well. And I think I slightly prefer him to guys like Danny Green and KCP. So again, this is nothing more than a gut feeling, but I feel like the Kuzma breakout game is going to come soon, and he has to be the third scorer here for the Lakers if they want to win a title here. So I have interest in Kuzma. I just feel like, again, the breakout game is coming. Green and KCP, you know what you're getting into with these guys. 25 to 30 minutes. They're super scoring dependent. The floor is low. They have to hit their threes. They're playable, right? Their range of outcomes are about a 10 fancy point floor, I'd say, with 25 fancy point upside or so. So, yeah, they're fine. You're not going to feel good about playing them. Dwight Howard's a guy I'm not going to get to. Only played 11 minutes the last game. No interest. They're going to limit his minutes. McGee's playable. I did mention in my video that they were like Frank Vogel's considering possible changes. Like maybe they play McGee more. They were plus when he was out there. Does he play more than 13 to 14 minutes? I think it's a very, very small possibility, but I think it's possible that maybe he comes out and plays 18, 19 minutes. Now, if that would be the case, he would be a lot more viable. And then finally, Caruso and Rondo. So Rondo was a guy I mentioned liking that last slate. He went for 25 minutes, 22 fantasy points. My concern is that Caruso was in foul trouble, so Rondo played a few extra minutes because of that. And if you go on social media and you just put Rajon Rondo in Twitter search, the Lakers fans hate him. They do not like playing Rajon Rondo at all. So, yeah, I think the minutes go down. I don't think he plays 25 minutes. I would say 15 to 20 minutes from Rajon Rondo. And he's playable at close to min price, right? He's a guy that doesn't have to score to get you fancy points. He'll get you the assists, rebounds. So, yeah, he's playable. I think I slightly prefer Caruso at 3-8, who, again, was in some foul trouble. I think he would have played more minutes like Frank Vogel mentioned. So, yeah, they're both similar plays to me. I think I do slightly give the edge to Caruso over Rondo, but it's close. Yeah, Markieff Morris didn't play enough minutes for me to consider him. So that's it. Yeah, this slate it's an interesting one. I think the stars and the scrubs will be more popular, but there's no real standout value again, right? Because if you look down here to I don't know, 4 or 5 and below, you have Jeff Green, the minutes are down on him. Daniel House, the minutes are down on him. George Hill played 25 to 30, but he's not really going to win you a GPP. Green, KCP are both almost identical plays. They have to hit their threes. The minutes are down on Dwight Howard. Don't play him. Caruso's probably the guy that I like the best, I guess, down here at 3-8. But they do have Rondo now playing too, so he's not going to play enormous minutes. Iguodala, I'm not going to get to at 3-5. Marvin Williams is playable, 20-ish minutes, but he has a somewhat low floor. Kelly Olynyk intrigues me at 3-4 just because he's a really good point per minute guy. And if something happens to Bam, he gets in foul trouble, or they just play Kelly O 15 to 20 minutes, he can definitely go for 20 fantasy points. He intrigues me if we get the minutes. I'm not playing Wesley Matthews. McGee is viable too. I think there's a small chance that he might play more minutes in this game. I'm not going to play none. DiVincenzo, does he get 20 minutes again? I don't know. If that's the case, then he's playable. Rondo played more minutes because Caruso foul trouble. How many minutes does he get in this game? Again, I think 15-ish. Again, playable, but you're not going to feel good about it. And that's really it. So the value on the slate is not amazing. But that's really my thoughts. Let's get some questions though. Real quick though, we're at 250 viewers. If you guys enjoyed the content, would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. Dragic, Rondo, or Bledsoe and Kuzma. I think the first one is probably the safer one, the safer way to go, just because Dragic's been really consistent. But that second one, that second option does intrigue me because Bledsoe's going to be low owned, and I don't think a lot of people play Kuzma. So the second is way riskier. I think the first is safer. Core. Yeah, this is a tricky slate. I'm going to go with the more. Let's see. All right, so I'll give you guys a core. I'm going with Tyler Hero at 5'3". I just like the price on him. I don't think he's going to kill you. He'll play 30 minutes. He's been good. The hip injury doesn't worry me a whole lot, so I think Hero looks like a pretty solid play. Let's see. I'm going to go Brook Lopez. If he does play 38 minutes again, I think that looks good for him. At least it's in his range of outcomes. 5'8", it's slowly coming up, but I'll throw Brolo in there in a must-win game. I'm going to put Anthony Davis as my stud. I played him the last slate. I'll play him again here at 10-6. I just like the price on him. And then lastly, it's a really risky option, guys. Like, this is nothing more than a gut feeling, but I feel like a Kuzma breakout game has got to happen soon. So I'm going to throw Kuzma in there. Again, I know he hasn't been great, but I feel like the Kuzma game is coming here. So I'll go with that. There's a lot of different ways you can go on the slate, and I really don't have like a strong take, right? There's you can go stars and scrubs, you can go a little bit more balanced. It's a 2-game slate, super, super high variance, guys, so don't play crazy money on these slates. Like, they're really, really high variance. But that's the direction that I'm going. I'm taking the risk with Kuzma. I'm hoping that he has a breakout game here. I'm terrified of fading LeBron. Yeah, I would probably, I don't know. You don't have to, but I would try to get to one of LeBron or AD. I like their prices, and after the bad game one, I feel like they're both going to come out more aggressive here. Got to play Middleton. I have Middleton in right now. He's going to be low-owned. It's just the way that I'm going. I'm going slightly more balanced, again, with Anthony Davis. Westbrook and Crowder or Davis and Caruso in a GPP. I'll go Davis and Caruso there. You talk me out of Rondo. I mean, no, Rondo's still playable. Like, I still like Rondo. He'll play, I think, 15 to 20 minutes. So don't cross him out. He's 3-3. It's a close call with him and Caruso, but I think I slightly prefer Caruso. I don't know. It's a really close call, right? They're both very similar. They're both going to play point when they're out there. Dragic or Rocco for cash is definitely Dragic for me over Rocco. Covington, Lopez, Hill, or Middleton, Tucker, and KCP. I think I'll go Covington, Lopez, and Hill there. I'm all in on Kuzma. Again, it's nothing more than a gut feeling for me with Kuzma. I just feel like he has to step up if the Lakers want to win. No Giannis. I'm not playing Giannis, but I do like him for the fact that this is the lowest owned you're going to get Giannis for a long time, in my opinion. Paulie B with the $5 super chat. Thanks, TK Michigan Love. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. I know you've been on fire here. All Michigan Love. Hopefully we have a good day today. Rondo or DiVincenzo? I'll go Rondo. Just because I'm not confident with DiVincenzo's minutes. Like, he could go back down to 10 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Rondo, I don't think he plays 25. I think the minutes do go down, but I think he gets at least 15. So I'll go Rondo. McGee and Westbrook or Kuzma, Dragic. I'll go Kuzma and Dragic there. Westbrook and Crowder or Davis and Caruso. I think I just answered that. Yeah, it'll be Davis and Caruso for me. Let's see how it plays. Crowder, Butler, Covington, or Gordon, Middleton, and Bam. Crowder, Butler, Covington, or Gordon, Middleton, Bam. I'll go with the second option there. I like the upside a bit more with Middleton, Bam, Gordon. Just joined. Why on Kuzma? Yeah, so it's just more of a gut feeling for me on Kuzma, right? It's nothing more than that. He hasn't been great, but he will play a few extra minutes because of the small ball. and he has to be their number 3 guy. So it's nothing more than that. I don't think he's gonna be high owned, and I feel like the Kuzma breakout game's coming. Kuzma, Robinson. I'm gonna go Kuzma there over Duncan Robinson. George Hill or Caruso. I think George Hill's safer. So because the minutes will be higher on George Hill. So if you're going for safety, George Hill. But I still have interest in Kuzma or in Caruso, obviously. Bledsoe, Bam, or Westbrook, Williams. I'll go Bledsoe and Bam. Bam, Kuzma, LeBron, or Gordon, Rocco, and AD. Bam, Kuzma, LeBron, Gordon, Rocco, AD. Bam, Kuzma, LeBron for me. Let's see, which looks better, DK? Westbrook, Butler, Gordon, or Dragic, LeBron, Duncan Robinson. I think Dragic, LeBron, and Duncan Robinson. Is Bam a good play? Worried about him? It's tough because Miami's so balanced. I have interest in all 5 of their main guys. With Bam, Jimmy, Dragic, Tyler Hero, and Jay Crowder all look good. It's just, getting on the right guys can be a little bit tough since they're more balanced. So I think he's a decent option in the mid-range. I think I slightly prefer him to Jimmy Butler. Need one, JaVale, Rondo, Marvin, or Dante. Give me Rondo, I guess. Williams or Iguodala. I'd rather go Marvin Williams. Let's see. Dragic, Hero, Butler, Davis, Lopez, Crowder, Rondo, Williams. I think that looks pretty good. Bam, Butler, or Westbrook. Kind of depends, I guess. How many Heat you have in your lineup. If you already have a couple as Miami guys, maybe go Westbrook. So that's a tough one, right? So if you have no Miami Heat guys, then I would probably go Bam. But if you already have a couple Miami guys, then maybe go Westbrook there. Westbrook and Tucker or Dragic and Rocco. I would rather go Dragic and Rocco, I think. Butler or Westbrook, again, kind of depends what you have in your lineup. Or do you have a lot of Miami guys? If you have 3 Miami guys, then maybe go Westbrook there. Do you like Dragic, Hero, Middleton, Kuzma, Lopez, Rondo, Davis, and Tucker or GPP? Yeah, that's the direction that I'm going. It's a very, very similar build to mine. So yeah, I think it looks good. Kuzma or Tucker? This is just a gut call, but I'm going Kuzma today. Caruso and LBJ or Butler and Gordon. Caruso, LBJ, or Butler, Gordon. I'm going to go Caruso and LBJ. I like the upside here on both the Lakers stars. AD, Rocco, or Giannis, Dragic for cash. It's going to be AD and Rocco for me. Do you like Dragic, Hero, Middleton, Kuzma? Yep, that looks good. How does it look, DK? Dragic, Hero, LeBron, Crowder, Lopez, Bledsoe, Robinson, and Tucker. Don't have an issue with that. How high are you Caruso today? I think he's a decent option. I think he'll play 20-ish minutes. Him and Rondo are similar plays. I don't know. You have so many guys you can choose from for the Lakers' value. You have Caruso, you have Rondo, you have Danny Green, you have KCP. I think I slightly prefer guys like Rondo and Caruso because they do a little bit more, whereas KCP and Danny Green, you're really relying on them to hit the 3-ball. Jay Crowder or Kuzma, well, definitely Jay for cash. I feel a lot more comfortable with Jay Crowder, so definitely Crowder there. Either way, though, I think it's Crowder. Dragic and Lopez or Tucker and Bam. I'll go Dragic and Lopez there. Duncan Robinson, Tucker, or KCP, Lopez. I'll go KCP and Lopez there. Not super excited about PJ Tucker. Marvin Williams or KCP. I'll go KCP. Bledsoe, Duncan Robinson, or Hero and Tucker. Bledsoe and Duncan or Hero and Tucker. I'll go Hero and Tucker there. I like Tyler Hero. Butler, Bledsoe, Crowder, Dragic, Lopez, and Williams. Thoughts? No issues. I have the same feeling for Kuzma. Yeah, again, guys, it's nothing more than a gut feeling there. Danny Green or KCP. I'll go Danny Green. Marvin Williams and Tucker or Kellyo and Kuzma. How risky do you want to get, right? I think the Kellyo-Kuzma lineup has a lot more upside, so I'll go with that. Danny Green outscores everyone cheaper than him. Yeah, I mean, you have Danny Green, you have KCP, you have Rondo, you have Caruso. There's a lot of value options you can choose from. Don't really have a strong take, to be honest. I think all 4 are in play. Danny Green, yeah, let's see. Westbrook, Gordon, or LBJ Caruso. I just have a good feeling about the Lakers stars today. So I'm going to go LBJ and Caruso. Slate is locked now in the first game. Yeah, so let's get to some ownership, guys. Let's see what it's all about. So this is really interesting ownership here. Notice how Dragic was, 50, 60% owned, like the last three slates or so. After the subpar performance, he dropped to 15% owned. 15% Goran Dragic. 19% Tyler Hero. 37% Middleton, 53% Brook Lopez, and 30% George Hill. That's what I got in the first game. I'm curious to see what other ownership is. Duncan Robinson at 18%. Bam Adebayo, 12%? Wow, it looks like Wes Matthews, 6%. Giannis is 12% owned. 12% owned Giannis Antetokounmpo. Told you guys, this is the lowest owned we'll ever get him. Bledsoe, 45% owned. So it looks like, okay, people are buying back into Bledsoe. That's fine with me. He had a bad game last time out. I have no issue with that ownership. Crowder, 39%. The ownership's kind of low in this game. Like, just on everyone. No one's really super chalk. DiVincenzo picked up 20% ownership. Jimmy Butler's... the Miami guys are super low, right? Jimmy, 12%. Bam, 12%. Dragic, 15% owned. That means that people are going stars and scrubs. So I think AD and LeBron are both going to be super popular. Yeah, the ownership is not high in this game. So I think Westbrook will get ownership for his price. I think AD and LeBron as well are going to get a good amount of ownership. That's just my opinion. We'll see. But there's no big ownership on the main studs, right? All three Miami guys are below 15% owned. Jimmy, Bam, and Dragic all below 15% is kind of crazy. Giannis at 12%. I knew Brook Lopez was going to be the chalk, 53% owned. That's fine. I am a little bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised how low owned those Miami guys are. Do you think Miami sweeps? I think that Milwaukee wins this game. Hero lower owned for some reason. I mean, all the Miami guys are low owned. Literally. Dragic, Jimmy, Bam, Hero are all super low owned. Giannis low owned. Yep, I told you guys this is the lowest owned we'll ever get Giannis. 12% owned Giannis. I didn't play him, but you saw it with Luka, right? When he was questionable that ankle, no one played him. Sure, the Porzingis late scratch obviously helped, but the reason I like Giannis is I knew he was going to be low owned. People are crazy going with Harden. The Lakers 2 stars, I'm sure. I think Westbrook will be more higher owned than Harden, but I think it's going to be Westbrook and those 2 Lakers stars. Based on ownership, I'm seeing LA studs both going to be 65% owned. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like. With all the Miami guys super low owned, it has to be. I think Miami's going to dominate, though. Miami's going to sweep with ease. Possibly. Butler, 39% in the $1. Yeah, he was only 12% in the $100. DK, you should charge their advice make website. Thanks, man. Bad options. Let's see. Bad options center. That's why Lopez is so highly owned. I think people are expecting LA to maybe run LBJ, LeBron at 4 or 5 spots, and maybe fading McGee and Howard. Yeah, I mean, I put AD in the core. I like both Lakers studs, but they're both going to be really popular. I think both AD and LeBron are going to be super, super high owned with ownership in this first game. Let's see, any last minute questions, guys, or else I'm going to get out of here. I got a terrible lineup with both LeBron and AD. Will you be covering the NIL? The NFL? Yes. Yes, I'll be covering the NFL. Already got videos up there. Early look video for the NFL slate. I will have a video for Thursday Showdown slate up soon. I'll have a later look video for The Sunday main slate. Yep, I'll be covering NFL. All right, guys. So I'm going to head out of here. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. Hopefully win some money today. And I will be back for another video Monday. Thoughts on Daniel House? I'm not going to do it. People are starting a bounce-back game for LA LeBron to play angry. I wonder if Waiters plays now. Yeah, it's possible that Waiters plays. Webb Simpson's murdering my PJ lineup, LL. Bam, 27%. Butler, 40%. Dragic, 35%. They're way lower owned in the $100 term. Let's see. Thanks for the vid. All right, guys. I'm going to head out of here. Sorry, I can't talk.